So this may or may not be a hot take, you'll have to let me know, but I truly believe that TikTok is slowly destroying the beauty community. And it's doing this by not only changing the way that people consume beauty content, but also what they expect this content to deliver. A subscriber of mine recently reached out and told me that she was disappointed because she felt like my videos have lately been taking on a little bit more of a negative tone. And she did have a point. I mean, certainly not all of my content is negative. I have a lot of really positive videos, but I have been doing a little bit more negative content lately. But what she didn't know is there was a reason for that. A couple of months ago, I decided to do a little bit of an experiment. My videos weren't getting the views that they once were, and I thought about just changing tactics a little bit, trying out some different video ideas to see what would work out best. I posted some of my regular beauty content mixed in with some more negative toned content, and guess what content performed way better than the rest? Beauty channel staples like Get Ready With Me, my winter skincare routine, and the best of 2024 had trouble even breaking 20,000 views, while videos like this one complaining about overpriced makeup got 53,000 views, or this one about out-of-touch influencers and brands got 51,000 views, or this video, Makeup Brands Think We're Stupid, is currently sitting at 65,000 views. So what gives? I think there could be a lot of reasons for this shift in the way that beauty content is consumed, but I want to focus on TikTok today because I think they are a huge part of the problem. So we're going to talk about their role, the reasons why I think this is happening, and what, if anything, we can do to fix it. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. So first off, to get a better understanding of why things have changed, we have to go back to the beginning of TikTok and why this is such a different platform than YouTube and Instagram and other social media sites. In a nutshell, the TikTok algorithm is unique in that it allows even really small creators the chance to go viral. Whereas YouTube and Instagram tend to promote videos from people who already have large followings on their platforms. For example, when you go into YouTube Shorts, they're more likely to show you content from channels you already subscribe to rather than new or unknown content. So this again favors large creators with bigger audiences. But over on TikTok, a new content creator, even if they have 0 subscribers, when they post a video, TikTok sends it over to the FYP or For You page. So everyone starts on an equal footing no matter how many followers you have. If the video is getting a lot of attention and enough people are clicking on it and watching it, then TikTok will continue to promote it, and eventually you can go viral even if you have a really, really small channel. So this is really appealing for anybody who wants to make a name for themselves and really build up a following quickly. In a nutshell, YouTube has always been focused on rewarding content that keeps people on the platform watching longer and just kind of encourages viewers to make a real connection with the creators on the platform. Whereas TikTok tends to reward more viral and attention-grabbing content and focuses less on making a connection with the creators that are on the platform. Unfortunately, this leads us to the first reason I think TikTok is destroying the beauty community, and that is extreme behavior. Even though influencers love how easy and fast it is to grow on TikTok, from the viewer's perspective, there's a huge downside to this. And if YouTube and Instagram start to adopt this same kind of approach, content as we know it is going to change. I feel like it's changed already, which we'll get into, but because TikTok rewards creators that really grab people's attention and create these viral style videos, this means that influencers have had to get more and more extreme over time to keep people's attention. For example, in the beginning, people would post Sephora hauls, people would watch them, of course, but as they started to get bored with that, people had to keep upping the ante. They had to keep spending more money, and now we're seeing these $4,000 Sephora hauls, and I did a whole video on this very recently, but it's these extreme examples that are what catch people's attention, and kind of like a drug that's addicting, creators have to keep raising the bar and creating more and more content that's going to one-up the other creators that are doing the same thing, just so that they're the ones that get noticed. In other words, you really have to fight to stand out, and it's a very pick-me mentality. beauty. In addition to hauls, another example of this are the restock influencers who share videos of restocking their guest bathrooms with beauty products as if they're running a hotel or an Airbnb. They buy an insane amount of sample-sized products and fill up drawers or organizers in this aesthetically pleasing way. Now, this type of content might be satisfying to watch, but it also sends a message that your bathroom should look like this, and it is incredibly wasteful. Most people are never going to have enough guests to use up this amount of products. And it's not just limited to bathrooms. This kind of content exists when it comes to refrigerators and pantries, lining up food and filling these areas with a large number of new products. And while I understand the appeal of these spaces looking organized, this type of restocking can lead to a lot of waste, especially when it comes to perishable items, and all for the sake of aesthetics. So again, it's not something that's attainable for most people. So you might be wondering, how does this affect YouTube? Sadly, this type of extreme behavior was mostly over on TikTok, but I'm seeing it start to creep on over here to YouTube. Videos showing $1,000 Sephora shopping sprees, insane PR unboxings, and restocking content is already here, and the views that they're getting are pretty telling. People just love to watch this. They love seeing the extreme end of things. They're not even just content to watch a regular haul anymore. My latest one back in December didn't even get 20,000 views because it was just a regular haul. And in my opinion, I don't even think people really love watching hauls these days. I think it's something that kind of had its time. There's not really any value in it. You're just kind of watching somebody hold up products that they got. And yes, there's a certain nosiness factor to it, but for the most part, I think people want a little bit more depth. They want to see swatches. They want to see a review, whether these products are actually worth buying or not. They really don't care what you picked up. I know I definitely feel that way, and that's why I haven't been really tuning into haul videos as much as I used to. But I think the extreme hauls are a different animal completely because people don't watch those to see what the person bought. I really don't think they care. They're watching those because they want to see a spectacle. They want to feel that mix of what I call horror and fascination, that someone would actually spend thousands of dollars on makeup in a day. And when you view this type of content over and over again on TikTok, it makes the content over on YouTube seem very bland and sort of blah in comparison. TikTok has changed people's expectations, and they want you to feel those emotions. And to be honest, most of the time it's negative. They might feel a sense of rage or anger because they feel that the person is being wasteful. They might feel jealousy that they can't just walk into a Sephora and buy whatever they want. Or they might feel a sense of superiority, like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. Who would spend that much money on makeup? And despite all of these negative feelings, and I'm sure negative comments that they must be getting, influencers continue to make these videos. I think they feel like the pros far outweigh the cons when it comes to this because they're getting tons of views and they're laughing all the way to the bank. So I think one thing that we can do as viewers is just to stop watching content like this. Even if it's hard, even if your instinct is to click on it and see what's going on, don't take the bait. Recognize it for what it is. They're trying to provoke a reaction in you because that's going to give them engagement. And it may take some time because if you have been watching a lot of this type of content, regular videos might seem too chill or too boring, but try to watch them anyway because I found that once I distanced myself from watching this type of content, especially over on TikTok, I noticed that my brain was a little bit restless at first, but I was able to kind of get back into that more chill, relaxed vibe of longer form videos. It does take a little bit of time to kind of recondition yourself, but what I started doing first is instead of sitting down and trying to focus on it, I would just put videos on while I'm cleaning, walking on the treadmill, even when I'm driving in the car. If it's a video that I really don't have to watch and I can just listen, I'll put it on the seat next to me and just listen to what the person is saying. And I found that I've really started to enjoy long form content again. So kind of to piggyback on this point, TikTok, I believe, has completely ruined our attention spans. I downloaded TikTok back in 2020 when we were all stuck at home with nothing to do. And I think a lot of people downloaded it back then. And I quickly got addicted to this really fast moving content that would sum things up super fast. I didn't have to listen to a lot of fluff or filler. I could just get the bullet bullet points. And soon after that, YouTube Shorts came out and Instagram Reels because, of course, they wanted to capitalize on the success of TikTok. And after a while, like I mentioned before, I stopped being able to really enjoy long form content. If I watched a Get Ready With Me, I would find myself getting kind of restless and bored. I couldn't really sit through it anymore, and I felt myself just saying like, get on with it already, or get to the point, or I would start to like skip around on the video to try to find what I was looking for. And as a long form content creator myself, I started to feel guilty about this because I know that watch time is king here on YouTube. And if people are skipping around just watching a couple of minutes of your video, it can make it underperform and not do as well. But I just felt like my attention span was shot. I was so used to just getting the nuggets of information that I needed and nothing extra that I couldn't relax and enjoy a longer video like I used to. Now, I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, but I still love long form content. I'm not over on TikTok, but the sad reality is, even if you aren't, the vast majority of people are. And one of the biggest changes I've noticed to my channel in particular is that a video, if it's gonna be long and keep people's attention, you have to feature a lot of different things in one video. It has to move at a quicker pace, you have to feature a lot of different products, you have to include B-roll, and things have to just be constantly changing. You can't do a video anymore of just you sitting there applying makeup because after a while, people will click out. When I look at my analytics, I've noticed that videos where I'm just sitting down applying makeup and it's kind of a slower pace show viewers dropping off very quickly. They just don't stick around. But if I look at videos where I show a lot of products, they're faster paced, or even videos like this one where there's some element of drama or negativity, people stick around much longer. So YouTubers have had to make these kinds of changes to stay relevant to what people are looking for these days. It's just not enough to film a makeup tutorial, a Get Ready With Me, or even a video that's focused on one product. People want to see a lot of variety to keep from getting bored. And I think that a big part of the blame for this lies in short form content like TikTok. Another thing that we've been seeing a lot from the beauty community on TikTok is micro trends. And I do see these migrating over to YouTube as well. And these work by one person usually starting the trend and then all of the other influencers jumping on because they're hoping that their content will get featured and kind of piggyback on the success of the first person who did it. So just to name a few, we had the strawberry girl trend that Hailey Bieber started, where she created a look with pink cheeks and lips. We had the clean girl aesthetic with the slicked back hair and the minimal makeup. The mob wife look, which was almost the opposite of clean girl with the full beat of heavy makeup, big jewelry, and fur coats. We had the cold girl makeup with the red flush of blush across your cheeks and nose, and things like puppy liner that featured creators drawing their eyeliner down at the corners for a sad eye look. And it's basically the opposite of the more lifted fox eye trend from the year before. And who could forget Latte Girl, which was really just a fancy name for all brown makeup looks. And don't get me wrong, in a way, these trends are sort of a fun way to create excitement around makeup again. I think a lot of us might have groaned over the names that they came up with for them because they were a little corny, but in a way, they kind of reminded me of the tag videos that used to go around YouTube, where one person would make a video answering a series of questions, and then all the other YouTubers would do the same video and kind of pile on and give their own answers. So I don't hate the idea of trends. I think they do keep things interesting, but on TikTok, they're just so short-lived. I think like everything else, it's the whole attention span thing where instead of lasting for a season like trends used to, now it's a couple of weeks and they're on to something else. But there is another side to these trends that I feel is contributing to ruining the beauty community, and that is the shopping focus. So TikTok might just seem like a fun place to share short videos, but a huge part of it is TikTok Shop. And when it comes to the micro trends we were just talking about, creators will make a look, whatever it is, and they push the idea that you need the exact specific products that they were using in order to create that look, when in reality, most people could probably just use whatever they already have in their collection. If you want pink blush and lips, I think most people have that already. I could have created any of the trends that I mentioned before with things that I already own. But TikTok Shop is always very heavily focused in these types of videos, and they make it super easy to just click right on the screen and buy the product. You don't have to click a link in anybody's bio. You don't have to jump through hoops to buy it. It's right there. And YouTube and Instagram have recently integrated their own shopping into the videos as well. So now it's starting to give YouTubers that same incentive to really push specific products instead of encouraging people to use what they already have, because it can be linked right on the screen. It's not enough to just say use any red blush that you have in your collection. I think as a whole, beauty content has just become so shopping focused, and it wasn't always like that. And this kind of ties into my next point, which is that TikTok has further pushed the idea of quickie reviews or first impressions. And this is largely because short form content just doesn't give people the time to really get into the pros and cons of things. Basically, they just say it's good or it's bad, and most of the time it's positive because, again, they are trying to sell you something. Because of TikTok Shop, there is an incentive to push people to buy something right away. So the idea is just to get people really excited about a product and talk it up so much that they go ahead and pull the trigger and buy the product without really hearing any downsides or cons. There are literally people I watch over there that never give anything a bad review. They love everything they try. And that's simply because a negative review is not going to earn them any money. And to be fair, first impressions have been a thing on YouTube for a long time. So I don't necessarily blame TikTok for that, but I do think that the motivation for creating first impressions is completely different on the different platforms. On TikTok, the idea is to sell as many of that product as they can. So they're just going to create all of this buzz and excitement and hope that you will just go ahead and buy it. But YouTube is more of a search-based app. So when people are creating first impressions over here, it's because they want to be the first person to review that product. And that way, when people search for it, your video is going to be the first one they watch. But YouTubers are typically chasing views because that's how we make our money. So we just want as many people to watch it as possible. It doesn't really matter what we say. It could be positive, it could be negative, and we're not really incentivized either way to say whether it's positive or negative. If you hype something up and say, this is the best foundation ever, a lot of people will click on your video just as much as they will if you say this is the worst foundation ever, because people will be curious as to why that is. So I think the negative videos can sometimes even get more views than the positive ones over here. So I think that's the biggest difference in motivation between TikTok and YouTube. The first impressions on YouTube are all about just getting as many eyes on your video as possible, whereas on TikTok, it's about getting as many sales as you possibly can. And unfortunately, YouTube is starting to kind of go the way of a shopping platform similar to TikTok. Like I mentioned before, they're adding in those shopping features. So a lot of times you'll see a little thing come up on your screen in the bottom corner. I don't know if it's on this side or this side, but you can just click right on it and it'll take you right to the products that were used in the video. You don't have to go hunting for the description box and all of the links. And I think as more and more creators start to use these functions, we're going to see a lot more people realizing that they can make money this way and pushing products more. I cannot tell you how many emails and notifications I've gotten from YouTube kind of pushing me and incentivizing me to use their shopping feature. And in the past, I've always just linked products in my description box, and I never bothered with that because it's an extra step. It usually takes me a long time to already populate all of those affiliate links that I have to put in my description box. So the last thing that I wanted to do was have to make more links for YouTube shopping. But now YouTube has made it so easy, I don't even have to do anything. They basically scan my description box and figure out which products I'm listing there, and then they populate the shopping part themselves. So if you see products in that little pop-up, I didn't even put them there, YouTube did. And they started doing this about a month or two ago, and I was really surprised when I looked at my revenue for last month that I actually made close to $1,000 just from that little shopping thing, and I didn't even actively try to use it. So I just wonder how long it's going to start taking people to catch on and wanting to fill that with even more products and actively pushing people to click those links And I also wonder if YouTube is going to start eliminating our ability to put our own affiliate links in the description box and instead is just going to expect us to use their own. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, but right now I like the option of using my own affiliate network and putting my own links in the description box. But I think this could potentially lead to a lot less honest reviews and more pushing of products similar to TikTok. Another thing I think TikTok has ruined for the beauty community is undisclosed sponsorships. Here in the US, we are required to disclose anytime we have a paid partnership with a brand, and YouTube has a special tag that we can place on the video that populates up at the top and lets you know that this is a paid advertisement. And I think YouTubers in general have been pretty good about using this. Everybody that I follow and watch uses that little disclaimer on their videos. But the same cannot be said for TikTok. That place is like the Wild West of undisclosed advertising. They seem to think that a hashtag that says like whatever brand partner is enough. And, you know, most of the time I think people aren't even looking at the hashtags. And to be honest, it's caused a lot of mistrust in the beauty community. As an unsponsored channel myself, I cannot tell you how many comments I get if there's a brand maybe that I feature regularly, that I talk about a lot because I love them, because I truly buy their products. You know, and people will say, you have a relationship with this brand. Why aren't you disclosing your ads? And these comments are typically from people who don't watch me regularly and they don't realize that I get a lot of PR and I don't mind talking negatively about the products if I don't like them. I know those of you who watch me all the time, you know that I'm not sponsored, but there's just this general mistrust of beauty influencers now because it's been so abused, and people getting caught over on TikTok doing undisclosed ads, I think has been a huge part of that. And for now, I think it mostly remains a TikTok problem. Like I said before, I think people are pretty good about disclosing over here on YouTube, but it still sows the seeds of mistrust in a lot of the viewers that come over here to watch this content. And we're looked at with a lot of skepticism when so many of us are actually being really honest and trying to do the right thing. So those are just some of the reasons why I think TikTok has had such a negative effect on the beauty community. And it remains to be seen whether the ban is actually going to go through or not. But either way, whether it gets banned or not, I can see TikTok's influence having long-lasting effects. On the one hand, if it does get banned, we'll likely see an influx of TikTok creators coming over here to YouTube and also to Instagram, and things will change just because they have a different way of doing things, and it's going to change the types of content that we're seeing even further. Now, if it doesn't get banned, it seems like YouTube and Instagram are still chasing the popularity of TikTok and adopting many of its features to try to get more people to come over to these platforms. We know that YouTube has already brought over the short form content and more recently the shopping side of things. So the next thing left to do would be to change their algorithm to reward more viral type of content. And if they start doing that, any creator that already has a larger following is going to be put at a disadvantage, and they're going to start promoting that more viral, attention-seeking type of content. So I hope that doesn't happen, but I can already kind of see it shifting that way because just based on user behavior, it seems like that's what people are looking for when they come to watch videos these days. So I would love to hear your comments on this topic down in the comment section. Again, I know a lot of my core subscribers are not on TikTok and you're not watching short form, but even if you're not, have you noticed a shift in the long form content that you watch, and why do you think things are changing the way that they are? I'd love to hear from you guys, and I want to thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to watch this, especially if you made it all the way through. I truly appreciate it. It really means a lot. And if you enjoy content like this, I hope you'll consider hitting the subscribe button, and if you have a little extra time, I can put another video right there that you could check out next. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next one. Take care. Bye.